Namaste, and welcome to another episode of Sounds of India, broadcast on the first Sunday of every month at 11:30 a.m. and repeated the following Saturday at 11:30 a.m. I'm your host, Karina Datta Karmakar, here to keep you up to date with upcoming events and to recap past events. The month of May in Ottawa brought in sunshine, tulips, and was filled with events geared towards Asian Heritage Month celebrations. In today's episode, we will start off with our community news for the upcoming months, followed by an exclusive interview with the High Commissioner of India to Canada, His Excellency Shri Sanjay Kumar Verma. So stick around as this episode will be very interesting. On that note, I hope you enjoyed this month's episode, and I will pass it on to my co-host, Nikita Kamble-Bagal, with our community news.
Namaskar, everyone. We have some exciting community announcements for you, so please grab your chai and get ready to mark your calendars. The 6th edition of the Ottawa Indian Film Festival Awards, also known as OIFA, will take place from June 13th to 17th, 2023. OIFA is a film festival dedicated to modern storytelling by Indian and international creators, where you will get to experience world-class cinema. During this festival, there will be a 5-day competitive showcase of multi-genre Indian films, a roster of events, special screenings, contests, Q&As, and workshops. The official competition and special presentation sections are open to filmmakers from India and the Indian diaspora. OIFA's full program will be available on the festival's website as of the first week of June, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Details on the screenings, as well as tickets, will be available on the OIFA website at www.oifa.com. Follow the latest OIFA news on Facebook and Twitter, and for more information, contact Inderpreet Singh, the Executive Director and Director of Programming of OIFA, via email at inderpreet@oifa.com. For yoga lovers, seniors, and future entrepreneurs, the Indo-Canadian Community Centre has listed a variety of free classes and sessions. Yes, you heard that right, free. The Great India Festival Yoga in Canada classes are open to all and offered at various times daily. There are also Chinmaya Bharati yoga classes offered online. The Hindu Temple offers pranayam classes. Additionally, SPCO has Start Your Own Business sessions, and ICCC has Tanglewood Seniors Group weekly meetings. Visit iccciottawa.org/event to learn more about all these free classes and sessions. Gharana Arts and Vidushi Kasturi Mishra present Parampara, Embracing Tradition with Unparalleled Grace and Beauty, on Saturday, June 17th from 4 to 6 p.m. at St. Paul High School, which is located at 2675 Draper Avenue in Ottawa. During this show, you will be able to experience the world of Indian classical music and Kathak dance, which will feature Gharana Arts dancers, musicians, as well as a special solo performance with live musicians. Tickets are $20 and can be purchased on eventbrite.ca. The High Commission of India is hosting an event to celebrate the International Day of Yoga on Wednesday, June 21st. The event starts at 10:30 a.m. at Nepean Sportsplex at 1701 Woodruff Avenue. For more details, visit hciottawa.gov.in. The Great India Festival is also hosting the Yoga in Canada Summit in honor of the International Day of Yoga. The event will take place on Wednesday, June 21st from 2 to 7:30 p.m. at the Jim Tubman Rink in the Canterbury Community Complex at 2185 Arch Street. Tickets are $50 and can be purchased at tgifottawa.ca. We hope you guys will partake in celebrating the International Day of Yoga by attending one of these events, by doing yoga on your own, or by reading up on the mental and physical health benefits of practicing yoga. The Great India Festival is also hosting Samhita, which is a celebration of multiculturalism, on June 27th, and will hold its flagship event, Mahabharat Utsav, from August 10 to 13. For more details, please visit tgifottawa.ca. Next, Desi Troupe is organizing a Bollywood boat party on Saturday, June 17th from 7 to 11 p.m. The boats will depart from 799 Rue Jacques Cartier in Gatineau, Quebec. The party will feature special guest DJ Slur, Toronto's finest DJ. Tickets are $30 for early birds, $40 for regulars, and $50 for VIP, and can be purchased on desitroop.com. In theaters right now, you can watch The Kerala Story, which is a drama that narrates the tales of 3 young girls from various regions of Kerala, and Gode Gode Cha, which is a comedy that tells the story of a young woman in Punjab who fights for women's rights in accompanying the Barats. If you would like us to announce your upcoming events, please send us an email at soundsofindiarogers@gmail.com. And that is all for your community announcements. Now back to you, Karina.
Thank you, Nikita, for the community announcements. And now I'm absolutely delighted and honored to have with us the High Commissioner of India to Canada, His Excellency Shri Sanjay Kumar Verma. His Excellency pursued a postgraduate degree in physics in IIT Delhi before joining the Indian Foreign Services in 1988. He has an extensive global exposure as he has been stationed at the Commission of India, Hong Kong, and at the embassies of India in the People's Republic of China, Vietnam, and Turkey, before serving as the Consul General of India in Milan, Italy. He also served as the Indian ambassador to the Republic of Sudan. Following his tenure in Sudan, High Commissioner Verma served as Joint Secretary, Global Estate Management, and later Additional Secretary, Administration and Cyber Diplomacy in the Ministry of External Affairs, New Delhi. Before arriving to Canada, he served as ambassador to India to Japan. His interests and hobbies lie in fascinating fields such as information technology and artificial intelligence. He's fully trilingual in English, Mandarin, and Hindi, and also has conversational skills in Bengali. This is a very brief introduction for a leader that wears so many different hats, but I think it's time now to hear from the guest of honor himself. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us on our episode today.
Thank you very much. Namaskar to everyone.
Thank you. Namaskar. So you've been around in Canada for a few months now since your last time on set. So what has been your experience in Canada, Ottawa in general, especially with the snow?
Ottawa had been quite good to me and to my family. The winter was not that severe. I would have expected much severe winter here. So it was great fun. The activities that we do did not slow down at all, even during the winter. The structure of the activities did undergo some change, but still we kept to a full-fledged activity calendar all through these last 7 months that I have been here. Meeting people, discussing things which are dear to the hearts of Canadians and Indians, and of course Indo-Canadians. That's music to the ears, and we took suggestions forward to see how better to get engaged with the community here.
Wow, okay. So it's not often that we hear that, oh, it was not that hard of a winter, but I'm glad to hear it was nice for you. Did you face any particular challenges adjusting to Canada, as per se?
Not much, because in my profession, the most difficult challenge would be a language which one doesn't know. Thankfully, my broken English is understood by most of the Canadians, so I didn't have that problem here. And culturally, it is very similar to what one would expect from an internationally, culturally upward-moving society. So absolutely no issues at all. Infrastructurally, it's a very sound country. It's a G7 country. The issues that we face in the diplomatic context are very similar to any other developed part of the world.
Right. Thank you for that. So my next question for you would be, what are your priorities regarding growing India-Canada relations at this moment?
As soon as I arrived here, what I witnessed was a bit of stereotyping India. So therefore, my first priority is to remove the stereotyping as much as possible. Second gap that I saw was understanding of India. People who came here, and I'm very proud of my huge Indo-Canadian community here, who are contributing so well to Canada and to India. But what happened that when they came here, their memories of India is frozen in those years. And therefore, those who could not keep up with the new India,
right,
which is there today, they found it difficult to understand what India is undergoing now and how is India's role in the international platform is undergoing change for better, change for leadership. And those things were missing. So I would love to see better understanding of where India is today and how India is going to contribute to the global good. So that is the second challenge which I want to rectify here. And I'm not saying that everyone thinks like that, but yes, there is a large segment of the population here who are not au fait with what India is doing today. How is India fighting climate change, or what is the innovation ecosystem in India, or how India is moving ahead with skill development. So all these aspects. So we keep talking to our interlocutors in various places and try to sensitize them on what's happening in India so that we can have a better understanding from them about India. And lastly, the plurality of India. India is a plural country. Whichever region you go to, there is a new kind of food,
Yep.
new kind of attire, there is a new kind of language, people's features are different. So I want that to be communicated, that we are coming from a country which is so unique in its plurality that it sends a message to the world of what we call always in Sanskrit, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So which roughly translated, very difficult to translate it, but roughly translated, the whole earth is a family.
Yeah.
And that is the message which comes out of India, which I want everyone to understand.
That is beautiful. I love that you ended with that, and the progression. I actually never thought of it in that aspect. So like we see things in a certain way, and then when we come here, we think that that's what the vision is. So it's definitely important to see things as progression and not where we are at now. So thank you for sharing that. So my next question for you are, what are the major areas of cooperation that you foresee needing improvement for India-Canada relationship?
So let's start with understanding each other's situation and sensitivities. We need to understand Canadian sensitivities when we deal with Canada, and I believe Canada needs to understand the Indian sensitivities on all issues, whether it is cultural, whether it is political, innovation related, industrial, economic, agriculture, you name an issue, because we are culturally very similar but yet divergent.
Yep.
We are in two different geographies. We are in two different levels of economic development, and therefore our issues will be different. So as only if we are able to understand each other's issues, only if we are able to understand each other's sensitivities to those issues, we'll be able to have a better dialogue which will be able to take us forward. So therefore that becomes extremely important for me. When I look at other more or less those domains where which is more international in nature, less cultural, innovation for an example. So I would like the two innovation ecosystems to talk to each other more seamlessly. Startup ecosystem, India has 94,000 startups today, the third largest in the world. So how does Indian startup ecosystem talks to the Canadian innovation ecosystem, including startups? That is a huge priority for me. Then comes the another area wherein my citizens coming from India to get a skilled and education in Canada, which is the students.
Yes.
So when these students come here, they are 17, 18, 19 years old kids. They may not be fully aware of what they are landing into.
Right.
So therefore, it is very important for us to tell them before they start from India as to what is the society like, how do they get accommodated, what are the do's and don'ts, and when they land up here, then I go out and seek support from the Indo-Canadian community. They had been in that place sometime before, so they are very well positioned to tell them what to do, what not to do, how to navigate their lives in Canada. So that's my huge priority, because the numbers are large. These are impressionable young kids who would take the name of India further in Canada and finally become bridges in Indo-Canadian relations.
Yes, thank you so much for that insight. Actually, recently I just hopped onto the website, and the first pop-up was a note for students applying to make sure that they applied through the real, the more legitimate universities and stuff. So I thought that was a step forward in that direction. So thank you for sharing that. My next question would be, what are the main challenges you often hear about from the Indian-Canadian community right now?
The Indo-Canadian community, since it's becoming larger and larger, so there are internal issues. There are multiple associations.
Right.
Each association is able to contribute to the richness of the life, both for the Indians and Indo-Canadians, as well as to those Canadians who are not Indians or Indo-Canadians. So therefore, they are contributing hugely, but at times there are duplications. At times, their visions are different. So therefore, these challenges need to be resolved somewhere. And being Indian representatives in Canada, we take that role very seriously and try to resolve those issues. Second one is student, which I just mentioned.
Yes.
So student is a huge challenge, and reason is that they have not been given the orientation in India as the recruiting universities or their authorized agents should have told them.
Right.
So that's another challenge, and I'm working on that. So that's another challenge. Then you see challenge for the new coming Indians who are matured.
Right.
So when they land up here, where do they go to? How do they connect with the existing Indian communities? How do they fulfill their cultural needs? How do they fulfill their other needs other than culture? So all these things become challenges.
Yes.
Then there are other challenges of connectivity between India and Canada, and that they bring it to us. We try to take it up with both the governments, try to bridge the gaps of information, try to bridge the gaps of perception, and try to take those things forward.
That's fantastic. So I'm so glad to see that you're taking so many actions forward to trying to resolve those concerns that are there. So on a side note, to kind of step away from all the more like issue solving problems, so very curious to know, in your free time, in your really busy schedule, if there's any, how do you prefer to spend it?
You know, one is that I want to give as much time to my wife as possible.
Yes.
The two of us are here.
Happy wife, happy life.
Absolutely. Happy family, happy life. So we try to do things together as much as possible, going out, listening to the music or anything else. But if I get even more free time, I go for my passion, which is the technology.
Yes.
So I do a lot of research to keep my updated on the new trends of technology, which are the geographies which are developing kinds of technologies that I'm interested in, artificial intelligence and IT-based technologies. And then I see how do I connect these technologies to India. In a way, it sounds officious, but it is not, because I'm very anxious to give the kind of inputs that a small startup would need in order to move forward. And these inputs could be by the way of identifying collaborations, identifying getting venture capitalists on their side, identifying new products which could be saleable, identifying customization of the products. So all these would occupy most of my free time.
Wow. Okay. So that is so exciting to hear, because it's not always that you get someone in a leadership position who's so interested into the technology. And I believe, being somebody who has a background in technology as well, it's so important to understand technology and try to integrate it into society, because that's where I believe you get progression. So it's very fascinating to see that. That's your free time and what you do for that. So my next question, that brings me to the next one. So how is HCI involved with various Indian associations across Canada? Because I know Ottawa has multiple, and then I can't imagine how many like beyond Ottawa are there.
So what happens is that in any society, associations are formed, and those people who were responsible to form to establish those associations long back, once they fade away, others don't take care of those associations.
Right.
So there would be a much larger number of associations which would be registered with the city government, with the provincial government in each of these cities and provinces, but actual active associations, the number will be less. Mm-hmm. So we attempt it on two levels. One, those which are dormant associations, try to encourage them to become active again.
Right.
Those which are active associations, try to set agenda for them. So what we do is, from time to time, we get all the representatives of those associations together. Those which are in Ottawa, it's easy to get them physically involved with us, and then we sit across the table physically and talk about various things which would be coming up in the next few months, and encourage them to organize events, do activities which will be befitting to those events of India. And most of the time they do oblige us doing so. So that is one part. So convening and setting agenda. And secondly, wherever we feel that there is a need for more than encouragement, even to have some government funding
Yes.
given to the activities, etc., we do consider them and provide them that as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, there are so many organizations, so I can't imagine your schedule being called to every single one of those events and how you manage that, but it is a big part of our community here for the Indian Canadians living here. So in that same pattern, so what kind of community and cultural initiatives are on HCI's agenda for the year as part of your initiatives?
So I'll give you some examples in order to understand as to what we do and how do we do it. So say very soon, let's move back a bit. It was just earlier this month that we held a beach cleaning exercise. Now Ottawa doesn't have a beach, but it has a riverfront. So we got people together from the community. All of us landed up on a riverfront and cleaned up the riverside as a G20 initiative, wherein India is taking leadership this year. India is the chair.
Right.
So we brought people together, we convened them, and then we moved towards an objective which is a G20 objective to clean the waterfront in this particular case, and take this message to the larger community. That's important to keep the beaches and waterfronts clean. Moving forward, on the 21st of June, we are going to have the International Day of Yoga.
Yes.
So we are encouraging various associations, Indo-Canadian associations here, to undertake activities on International Day of Yoga, whereas we ourselves are involved in organizing the signature events for International Day of Yoga in the Parliament for the community. One is in the Parliament lawns, I believe. So all these three large yoga events will take place on the 21st of June, and Canada was a co-sponsor to this International Day of Yoga. So we are together in that. So these are some of the examples. Where do we move and how do we do things?
Awesome. So for the viewers in general, you've heard that there's various initiatives, especially the Yoga Day on June 21st. So definitely visit the HCI website to learn more about it. And thank you for providing us with that information. So this brings me to the next one, which is, with the growing population of Indian diaspora well-versed in fine arts and dancing and singing and more, are there any cultural exchange programs currently in place?
There are. So there is a government-to-government cultural exchange program which is signed between the two governments or two government agencies, and under that we do bring in troops here. I think in August we are going to get another group of Indian dancers from India who will be performing at various places in Canada. Given the distances, we cannot do it many times in a year,
Right.
but we try to do it at least twice a year, and they go to various cities and do it. I'll be very glad if the Indian community comes together and decide on doing a Festival of India in 12 to 13 cities in Canada. We'll be able to support them as well. You know, when a scientist comes here, Sign 90 is one for all scientists in the world.
Right.
So there is no variety.
Right.
But when an artist comes here, that is the variety which the artist brings with himself or herself. So we do promote art and artists. We do conduct competitions, essay competition, dance competitions, yoga competitions. So we do conduct those things in order to enrich our own lives and in order to display to others who have not known India so intimately that India is plural in all aspects.
Yes.
It has multiple folk dances, semi-classical dances, and classical dances. It has multiple ways of expressing oneself through various kinds of songs and singing traditions. So all these things we want to expose to those who want to understand India in a better and plural manner.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering that question. So we're coming near to the end of our interview. So I'm just going to end it off with one last question. So I'm going to come back to the students because they are kind of the future. So many students are struggling and facing different things. And I know you mentioned that there's different solutions that you're working on, but do you have a different support system of how they can reach out to the High Commission in need?
Absolutely. So all our contact details are displayed on the website, including a mobile phone number, which is a helpline kind of thing. Not only here, also in our Consulate General in Toronto and Consulate General in Vancouver. So these are 3 offices that we have. Emails are always open, just a click away. So they are always welcome to come back to us on any issues that they have. But I'll go further ahead and say that, when these kids apply for a university, that is the right time for them to understand what they are signing into.
Right.
And therefore, I would, through you, I would appeal to the entire community who is watching this program to extend the helping hand to those students who are coming from India to Canada and brief them on the factual aspects of life in Canada so that they come prepared. There should not be a case that they land up here and then they realize that they don't have money to proceed further, or they don't have the skill set to move ahead, or they may be entrapped in something that they don't want to do.
Right.
So therefore, pre-departure is very important. So there I would urge our community members to play their roles, upload YouTube videos to tell them what it is. Most of these Indian students who come here, they are digitally quite enabled, so they should be able to watch them. As High Commission, we are going to restart our YouTube channel on which some of these information will be shared.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you coming on our show, Your Excellency, and it was a pleasure having you on the program. Namaste.
Thank you very much. Namaskar.
All right, folks. So that concludes our show for today. Thank you for joining us on our Sounds of India episode. We really hope you enjoyed the announcements and interviews. If you'd like us to announce your events, cover your events, or if you'd like to be a guest on our show, please email us at soundsofindiarogers@gmail.com. Don't forget to tune in for our September episode, where we'll be showcasing exciting events that are happening this summer, as well as sharing events upcoming in the fall. Wishing you a fun-filled, warm summer, and we will see you again in September. Thank you, stay safe, have a wonderful day. Namaste.